If I told you that right now, in this very moment, there is another version of you already living your dream life, would you believe it? What if I said that quantum physics has already proven the hidden link that makes this possible? For decades, scientists like Einstein and John Bell debated the mysterious phenomenon of quantum entanglement, the invisible thread that connects particles across space and time. But what if that same principle connects you to your parallel selves? In this full guide, you'll discover exactly how to use quantum jumping to align with your future self, break free from limiting timelines, and consciously step into the life you are meant to live. Before we dive in, comment below. If you could quantum jump into any version of your life, what would be the very first change you'd want to see? Imagine two particles born together, like twins separated at birth. You move one across the universe, and yet no matter how far apart they are, the instant you change one, the other responds. This is not science fiction. It's what Einstein once called spooky action at a distance. Scientists now call it quantum entanglement. At first glance, it sounds impossible. How can two things light years apart know what the other is doing? But experiments have proven it again and again. Reality itself is not as disconnected as we were taught. Beneath the surface of matter lies a hidden fabric, an invisible web that ties everything together. And you are part of that web. Have you ever felt a sudden intuition or an odd coincidence that seemed too precise to ignore? If yes, you've already touched this mystery. Comment below with yes. If you've ever had one of those moments, think about it. If subatomic particles can remain entangled beyond space and time, what does that say about you? About your mind, your choices, your very existence? Could it be that entanglement is not limited to particles, but extends to consciousness and even to the multiple versions of yourself that exist across parallel realities? This is where the mystery deepens. For centuries, philosophers and mystics spoke of an interconnected cosmos, an ocean of energy where nothing is truly separate. Quantum physics, surprisingly, seems to echo those same truths. In fact, physicist John Bell's groundbreaking experiments showed that entangled particles communicate instantly, faster than the speed of light, defying every classical law we once believed unbreakable. It makes you wonder, if even science admits connection beyond space and time, how much more could exist beyond what our senses perceive? And here's the key. You are not outside of this mystery. You are inside it. Your body, your thoughts, your dreams, all of them swim in this quantum ocean. When you feel a sudden intuition, a strange coincidence, or a deep sense of déjà vu, it may be your consciousness brushing against this hidden fabric. It's like the universe whispering, you are more connected than you realize. If you've ever had that whisper, share one word in the comments. Entangled. Let's see how many of us are feeling the same invisible thread. Now let's stretch the metaphor further. Picture reality as a grand cosmic loom. Each thread is a possibility. Each weave a timeline. Quantum entanglement is the knot that binds them. What if those knots are not random? What if they are doorways? If particles can be linked across vast distances, maybe you can be linked to your future self, the one already living the life you dream of. The idea might feel radical, but think of it this way. Every decision you make, every belief you hold, sends ripples through this fabric. Sometimes those ripples collide with other versions of you, other threads on the loom. Quantum entanglement shows us that separation is an illusion, and illusions, once seen, can be broken. So let me ask you, if separation is an illusion, what version of yourself do you truly want to stay connected with? So the question is not whether you are entangled. You already are. The real question is, with which version of yourself will you choose to stay connected? The one who repeats old patterns, or the one who has already stepped into a higher reality? This chapter sets the stage. You now know that entanglement is more than a scientific curiosity. It's an invitation. An invitation to remember that you are not isolated, not powerless, not stuck. You are part of a living, breathing web that stretches across time and possibility. And once you understand that, the idea of quantum jumping stops being abstract. It becomes a doorway you can learn to walk through. Pause for a moment and imagine. If everything in existence is connected by this invisible web, what does that mean about the dreams you hold inside you? Could it be that they are not out there waiting, but already entangled with you, pulling you forward? And that is where our journey truly begins. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself standing in front of a garden filled with countless paths. Each one leads in a different direction. Some are bright, open, and inviting. Others twist into shadows. Some are so familiar that you've walked them before, while others are wild and completely unknown. Now imagine that every single one of those paths is not just a possibility, it's a version of you that already exists. This is the essence of parallel selves. The idea that with every choice, every action, and every belief, reality branches. Some physicists call it the many worlds interpretation. Mystics call it infinite timelines. Either way, the message is the same. You are not limited to one single storyline. There are countless versions of you, each living out a different path. Have you ever wondered what would have happened if you had made just one different choice? Taken that job? Said yes instead of no? Spoken your truth instead of staying silent? According to quantum theory, those versions didn't vanish. They still exist, playing out in another timeline. And right now, you are entangled with them, which means contact is possible. Imagine meeting the version of yourself who already embodies everything you dream of being. The you who chose courage instead of fear, love instead of doubt, alignment instead of distraction. That self is not fantasy. It is as real as the you sitting here listening now, just in a different branch of the cosmic garden. If you could look into their eyes, what would they tell you? Think of it like a mirror. Every time you visualize a dream version of yourself, you're not simply making it up. You're catching a glimpse of that parallel self. Visualization, in this sense, isn't pretend. It's a window. That's why when you daydream vividly, your body reacts. Your heart races, your skin tingles. On some level, your system recognizes this is real. Have you ever felt that rush while imagining your best life? If yes, type future me in the comments, because you've just touched a parallel version of yourself. But here's the trap most people fall into. They think these alternate selves are unreachable, locked behind some wall of fantasy. The truth? You can shift. Just like changing the channel on a radio, you can tune into the frequency of the self you want to become. The signal is always there. It's your attention and energy that decide which you are aligned with. Right now, let's bring it closer to everyday life. Think of a time when you felt completely different from who you normally are. Maybe during travel, maybe after a life-changing event. Didn't it feel like you had stepped into another version of yourself? That is a mini quantum jump. A small shift in identity, where suddenly you behave, think, and feel differently. Imagine magnifying that, not by accident, but consciously. Here's a question worth holding. If infinite versions of you exist, why settle for the one stuck in limitation? Why not align with the version that already solved the problems you're facing? As you listen, take a deep breath and picture yourself shaking hands with that future self. See them smiling back at you, saying, I already exist. I'm waiting for you. The Garden of Paths is always alive. The only thing that keeps you on one trail instead of another is habit thoughts repeated, emotions recycled, stories told. Again and again. But once you remember that parallel selves are real, habit stops being a prison. It becomes a choice. So ask yourself now, which path will you choose to walk from here? Because the truth is, you've already walked them all. You've already lived countless versions of this life. The magic lies in remembering that you can choose consciously, right here, right now. And this is the bridge we're crossing together, from knowing that entanglement connects us, to realizing that infinite versions of us already exist. Once you see that, quantum jumping becomes not just a possibility, but the most natural step in your evolution. Up to now, we've explored the mystery of entanglement and the existence of parallel selves. But here's the question that matters most. How do you actually jump? How do you shift from the version of you stuck in old cycles into the version already living the life you dream of? Most people imagine a quantum jump as some dramatic sci-fi teleportation, like stepping through a portal into another dimension. The truth is much simpler and far more profound. A quantum jump begins not outside of you, but inside your own consciousness. Think of your mind as a radio. Right now, you are tuned into a particular station, the story of you that you've grown accustomed to. But just like a radio, countless other stations are broadcasting at the same time. Your dream life is already on one of those frequencies, waiting for you to tune in. The knob you use to shift stations is your state of being. Here's the first step: intention. Intention is like the address you type into your GPS. Without it, you're just wandering through signals, picking up static. Your intention is the clear, bold statement. This is the version of me I am aligning with. For example, I am stepping into the self who already lives with freedom, abundance, and joy. When was the last time you set an intention that felt so clear, lit you up inside? If it's been a while, maybe this is your moment to write. One down in the comments, dot the second step. Focus. Quantum physics tells us that observation collapses probability into reality. In other words, what you give attention to, you solidify. This is why visualizing your desired self is so powerful. It's not fantasy, it's focus. And focus is what shifts the dial. The more you feel it, the more your system tunes into that. Version. The third step. Altered state. To access a quantum jump, you need to step outside of ordinary thinking. This is why meditation, deep breathing, or even daydreaming can open the door. They quiet the noise so you can feel the signal of your future self. Without that stillness, you're just bouncing around inside old frequencies. Let's try it right now, just a short practice. Close your eyes for a moment, take 3 deep breaths, and imagine yourself standing before 2 doors. One door leads to the life you already know. The other glows with the energy of your highest self. See yourself opening that second door. Step through, breathe, feel what it's like on the other side. Even if just for 20 seconds, you've touched the vibration of a new reality. How did it feel? If a word came to mind, peace, power, light, share it in the comments, because that word is your anchor dot. The 4th step, action. This is where many people stumble. They visualize, they meditate, but then they return to the same habits and expect miracles. Quantum jumping is not just about inner vision. It's about aligning your choices with that vision. If your future self eats differently, speaks differently, acts differently, you must begin to echo those choices now. Otherwise, you remain tuned to the old station. Think of it like installing a new program. You can't just download it, you have to run it. Every small action is a signal to the universe. I am serious about this alignment. Every time you act in harmony with your future self, you collapse probability into reality. So, the mechanics of a quantum jump are not mystical secrets. They are practical steps. Intention, focus, altered state, action. Together, they form the bridge. The only question is, are you willing to walk across it? Pause for a moment. Imagine yourself holding the radio dial of your life. Right now, what station are you tuned into? Fear, doubt, routine? And what would it feel like to turn that dial, right here, right now, to the frequency of freedom, clarity, or love? That is the essence of quantum jumping. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Soon, shifting states will feel as natural as changing the channel. The key is remembering, the station you want is already broadcasting. You're not creating it from scratch. You're simply tuning into what has always been there. By now, you understand that entanglement connects everything, and that countless versions of you already exist in parallel realities. But here's the most transformative insight. You can form a conscious relationship with your future self. Think of it like a software update. Your future self has already downloaded the programs you're searching for. The wisdom, the habits, the courage, the breakthroughs. You don't need to reinvent them. You just need to sync. Imagine, right now, what it would be like to download the mindset of the version of you who has already created the life you want. How would your thoughts shift? What choices would suddenly feel obvious? Comment with one word, sync, if you'd love to feel that download. The connection happens through resonance. Just as entangled particles respond to each other instantly, you respond to the version of you you're most aligned with. If you constantly focus on fear, worry, and limitation, you remain entangled with the version of you who keeps experiencing those things. But if you shift your focus to gratitude, vision, and boldness, you start syncing with the self who lives in that higher state. The bond is already there. You just choose which line of it to strengthen. But here's the danger. Many people fall into two traps. The first is staying in fantasy. They visualize their dream self, but never move beyond daydreaming. They mistake imagination for manifestation. The second trap is chasing shortcuts. They want to jump timelines without shifting their identity, expecting change without alignment. Have you ever caught yourself in one of these traps, dreaming without action or wanting shortcuts? If yes, you're not alone. The good news is that awareness is the first step to stepping out. So how do you build real entanglement with your future self? Through consistent dialogue. Begin treating your future self as a real presence. Ask, what choice would you make in this moment? Write down the answers. Some people even keep a future self journal where they speak daily with that version of themselves. Over time, this practice rewires your decisions. And soon, you realize you're no longer trying to become your future self. You're living as them. Let's try it together, just for a few moments. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and picture your highest future self standing before you. See their posture, feel their energy, notice the calm confidence in their presence. Now, ask them one simple question. What do you want me to do next? Listen for the first word, image, or feeling that comes. That is entanglement speaking. If you heard or felt something, even if it was just a whisper, share it in the comments. It could be the exact nudge someone else here needs to hear. The truth is, your future self is not separate from you. They are entangled with you across time, pulling you forward through intuition, synchronicities, and subtle impulses. Every time you listen and act, you strengthen that bond. Every time you ignore it, the signal weakens. The question is simple. Are you willing to trust the pull? Pause for a moment. Imagine you are on a phone call, but the line is full of static. That's what happens when you live in old fear-based patterns. But as soon as you shift your vibration through gratitude, clarity, courage, the line clears, and suddenly you hear your future self loud and clear. Which line are you on right now, the static or the signal? Remember this. Entanglement with your future self is not a mystical wish. It is a lived practice. Every aligned thought, every bold action, every moment of inner stillness, each one strengthens the quantum thread. And soon, what felt like a distant possibility becomes the reality you wake up to every morning. Mini reflection inside the flow. Take 30 seconds to ask your future self, what's one habit you've let go of? Listen carefully. That answer might just be your next step in shifting timelines. You've now seen the hidden threads of entanglement, the infinite garden of parallel selves, and the steps to consciously jump timelines. But there's one final realization to embody. You are not just a passenger in this quantum ocean. You are the bridge itself. Picture yourself standing with one foot in your present reality and one foot in your future self's timeline. Every breath you take, every choice you make, is either reinforcing the old bridge or strengthening the new one. The question is no longer if you can jump, it's how consistently you can hold the vibration of the self you wish to become. Think about your daily life. The way you wake up, the words you speak, the emotions you rehearse, these are not small things. They are anchors. And each anchor ties you either to the past or to the future. If you woke up tomorrow and acted as if your highest self were already here, how different would your day look? Imagine yourself doing exactly that. What's the first thing that changes? If you know the answer, type it below. That single change could be your bridge. Living as the quantum bridge is about integration. It's not about waiting for flashes of mystical insight. It's about weaving the extraordinary into the ordinary. Your morning coffee can be a quantum act if you drink it as your future self would: calm, grateful, intentional. Your conversations can be quantum if you speak with the voice of your highest version. Nothing is too small to carry the imprint of your future self. And here's the secret: small steps matter more than giant leaps. People often think transformation is about one dramatic event. But real quantum shifting is subtle, steady, and layered. It's the accumulation of choices aligned with your future self until one day you realize you are no longer trying to bridge the gap. You are the bridge. But let's be honest, the old timeline will try to pull you back. Old fears, old stories, old voices whispering, "This isn't possible. You're not ready." Who do you think you are? When that happens, remember, those are just echoes from an outdated station. The signal of your future self is stronger. You just have to keep tuning in. Have you noticed those old voices trying to creep in lately? If yes, write the word release in the comments as a way of declaring that you're letting them go. One powerful way to anchor your new timeline is through ritual. Keep a quantum journal. Each night, write from the perspective of your future self. Today I lived in freedom. Today I embodied courage. Today I stepped into abundance. The more you write as that self, the faster your subconscious rewires. Soon, your body, mind, and emotions stop resisting, and alignment becomes natural. And don't underestimate community. When you share your intentions, your visions, your small daily shifts with others walking the same path, you amplify the field. That's why even commenting here matters. It entangles you with a field of people choosing the same bridge. Together, the signal grows stronger. Pause for a moment. Imagine looking back a year from now. You're smiling because you chose to. Step fully into the bridge. The struggles that once defined you feel like a faded dream. The new life is not something you hope for. It's something you live. How would that feel? Can you taste that freedom, even for a second? Hold that. That feeling is proof you're already entangled with it. So let this be a reminder. Bridge is not far away. It's under your feet, right here, right now. Every breath, every choice, every word is shaping which side of the bridge you're standing on. The jump isn't coming, it's happening. You are the quantum bridge. Live it.